The first time my daughter-in-law called me confused, she said it with a smile that never reached her eyes. It happened in my own kitchen, the one with the crooked cabinet door and the faint smell of lemon cleaner that never quite went away. I remember the clock above the sink ticking louder than usual, like it was keeping time with my heartbeat. My son stood near the doorway, arms folded, eyes on the floor. And there she was, calm, composed, her hand resting lightly on her stomach as if to steady herself, telling him, and later telling others, that I was getting mixed up again. I wasn't confused. I was terrified. Because what I'd seen the night before was very real, and it had my name written all over it. Before all this, my life moved at a gentle, predictable pace. I liked it that way. I woke up early, before the sun fully climbed over the maple tree in the front yard. I made my coffee strong and drank it slowly, standing by the window, watching the neighborhood come alive. The mailman always waved. Mrs. Alvarez walked her little white dog at exactly 7:30. Some mornings, if the air was cool, I could smell someone's toast burning 2 houses down. I'd raised my son, Daniel, in that house. Every scratch on the dining table told a story: homework nights, birthday cakes, elbows planted where they shouldn't have been. After my husband passed, the house felt too quiet for a while, but eventually, it became a place of peace. I learned how to be alone without feeling lonely. When Daniel married Lila, I told myself the house would change again, and that was okay. That's what life does. It rearranges itself around new people. At first, Lila was charming. That's the word everyone used. She had a soft laugh and a way of tilting her head when she listened that made you feel important. She complimented my cooking even when I knew the chicken was dry. She called me Mom before I ever asked her to. I wanted to believe in her. God knows I did. They moved in temporarily, just until they got back on their feet. Daniel said it carefully, like he was afraid the words might crack something fragile between us. I said yes, without hesitation. Family doesn't need rehearsed answers. Those first few months were almost nice. The house had noise again, footsteps upstairs, music drifting down the hall, the clatter of 2 extra cups in the sink. Lila reorganized the pantry one afternoon without asking. I told myself she was just trying to help, even though I couldn't find anything for days afterward. It was small things at first. Harmless things. Or so I thought. I'd noticed papers moved from where I left them. A folder on the desk in the spare room, the one I used as my office, shifted just an inch or 2. Drawers not fully closed. Once, I found my old leather-bound notebook on the coffee table. I hadn't taken it out in years. Did you move this? I asked Lila, holding it up. She blinked, slow and thoughtful. I don't think so. Maybe you forgot. Her voice was gentle, concerned. The kind of tone you use when you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I laughed it off. Of course I must have forgotten. I was getting older. Things slip sometimes. But at night, lying in bed, I'd replay the day in my mind, searching for the moment I could have carried that notebook downstairs. I never found it. That notebook mattered more than anyone knew. It wasn't just memories. It held details, account numbers, notes about the will my husband and I had updated years before he died, instructions I'd written to myself in the margins. I kept it close, not because I was obsessed with money, but because I believed in being prepared. Prepared people don't get taken advantage of. That's what my husband used to say. The first real knot of worry settled in my stomach the afternoon I overheard Lila on the phone. I was coming down the stairs quietly, meaning to ask if she wanted tea. She didn't hear me. I'm telling you, it's all there, she said, her voice low but confident. She doesn't even realize what she has. It's just a matter of timing. I stopped on the step, my hand gripping the banister. The wood felt cool, grounding. She laughed softly. No, she trusts us. She trusts me. I backed up the stairs before she could turn around. My heart thudded so hard I was afraid she'd hear it through the floor. That night, at dinner, she chatted about recipes and weekend plans like nothing was wrong. Daniel talked about work. I nodded at the right moments, smiled when expected. Inside, something was unraveling. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. People say careless things on the phone. Maybe I misunderstood. No, I wouldn't think that word yet. Still, I locked the spare room door before bed. It was a small act, but my hands trembled as I turned the key. The next morning, the lock was turned back. I stood there for a long time, staring at it, my reflection faint in the polished brass. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I could hear the hum of the refrigerator, the tick of that same clock. That was when the fear sharpened into something else. Because someone in my home was moving pieces on a board I didn't know I was playing on. And the scariest part wasn't the thought of losing money or papers or control. It was the slow, creeping realization that if I spoke up, if I named what I saw, the story could be turned against me. I looked down the hallway toward Lila's room and wondered, for the first time, how easy it would be for her to say I was confused, and how hard it might be for me to prove otherwise.